Hello everyone, and welcome to another Keepsake Cafe. Once again, my name is Lindsay Evans, and I am here in our Crown Cafe at Hallmark headquarters in Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm going to be meeting with my friend Tim Bodendistel today. I'm so excited to see him, and actually, he's right here. Hi, Tim. It's good. How are you?
Great, great.
It's so good to see you. And I'd say a long time no see, but we were just in 2 meetings together yesterday. So
We were. We used to work together a lot, actually.
We sure do.
It was really nice.
We sure do. I love that. I love that. So I see that you have your coffee. I have my coffee.
Not coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. I love hot chocolate, which is very keepsake.
I was going to say that's very Christmas.
Yes, yes. I have my Christmas drink all year round. So like this is my warm, happy place. It brings me good thoughts whenever I have
love that. Well, thank you for being here with me today, because I know everybody at home watching is going to be so excited to get to know you a little bit better. I've known you for a long time here at Hallmark, but I don't know that I know all of your background and kind of how you got to Hallmark and all of that stuff. So I want to talk about all of that today, but then we also have some questions, a little Q&A at the end from our friends at home. So thank you to those of you who sent in some questions. We'll have those at the end. But first we get to my questions.
Sure.
Since I get to be here sitting with you.
That seems fair.
Yes, yes. So first, I just wanted to ask you, give me a little bit about your background. Let's talk about art school and how you even ended up at Hallmark, or a career you had maybe before Hallmark.
Sure. I'm from Michigan originally.
Okay.
I went to school in Ohio at Columbus College of Art and Design, which actually a lot of Hallmarkers, including our director, Tim, went to.
Yes.
It's a great school. And so growing up in Michigan, kind of very different than down here. But I actually, when I came out of school, I went into advertising art. So like when you see a big ad and you see the illustration in it, I was doing stuff like that.
Yes.
It was a little Mad Men at times, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
But truly, like, it was exciting and kind of craft driven. But when I came to Hallmark, it's truly fun.
Yes.
Like every project you get to work on is fun.
That's true.
And I've even said that if it isn't fun, it's you, not the project.
That is absolutely true.
I really love it. And I worked in advertising art for 10 years.
Okay.
And then when I had the opportunity to come to Hallmark, it was a big move. I mean, we moved our family hundreds of miles away from everyone.
So you were in advertising still in Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then came straight from there to here. In fact, when I got hired, they took me into licensing. They said, where would you like to work?
Yes.
And I go, where do you think I should work? You've seen my work, you know your company.
Yes.
And they said licensing. I said, licensing? And I didn't realize I had done a bunch of licensed product. To me, it was just another client. Like I had done Marvel characters, and I had done the Three Stooges, and I had done the Flintstones and things like that. And then so they said, this is your home here, and oh my gosh, like that's a passion of mine.
Yes.
When I got to come here and get to work on Disney and Peanuts and Warner Brothers, I love that stuff.
Well, and that's our everyday world that we live in, right?
Yes.
So how many years then were you in licensing here at Hallmark?
Oh gosh, probably at least of my 28 years here at Hallmark, I would say I spent at least 14 to 16 in licensing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And what's cool about licensing is I had the opportunity as a designer and illustrator to work on every product format that Hallmark's ever made.
Yes.
So, because we were a center of excellence, so we would talk all different teams. So it was fantastic. I was designing greeting cards. I was working on gifts. I was working on gift wrap, but I also got to work on ornaments from almost the very beginning.
I love that, because you're kind of this jack of all trades, I guess I would call you, because you've gotten to work in all of these different departments specifically because of licensing, like you said. But now we get to have you, selfishly, we're really excited to have you on the Keepsake team, like fully on the Keepsake team.
It's true. When you mentioned jack of all trades, one thing that makes sense with that is think of it as being an actor and getting different roles.
Sure.
So I don't always even want the same role, but I've always been really like flexible in my artwork. Like I can change my styles. So that way I can come here and I can work on Bastin, which is wonderful and beautiful, or I can work on Mickey Mouse or Winnie the Pooh or Walking Dead and get to shift those, and I love that. It's like you're getting to play different roles every time you work on it.
It's something different every single day.
Yes,
yes.
It is.
I love that. Well, you've talked a lot already about your kind of love of licenses and licensed products. But I I want you to talk a little bit more about that because I don't know that everybody at home kind of understands. We have so many properties that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me a little bit more. I know you have some fun stories about working on Disney and Peanuts and all sorts of stuff here. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, so first of all, even when we throw out the word licensed property or like licensed property, it's just all the characters that we love. You know, and something about working on those characters lets you connect back to your own childhood, which is really, and like kind of those warm feelings of like summer vacation and looking at all the characters. So I was at Hallmark 2 weeks and got sent to Disney.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was just in awe. You know, I'm looking around at everything. I even later got to go out and work with their illustrators to learn to ink the characters and things like that. So spending that time out there was just like a dream for me. In fact, my first trip out there, we're heading back to the airport and I go, that was fantastic. And the person next to me goes, that was a business meeting. And I go, you know, like all the stuff we were doing, and it was
like,
so much fun.
Is this going to be my job? Because this is pretty great.
Yeah, and then you get to meet some of the creators.
Yes.
You know, I've met the Garfield creator and some of the other folks, and or you get to hear about them from people that knew them. Mm-hmm. And like I'm hearing about Charles Schultz, so I just missed meeting. But he was very much, like you hear stories like he was very much Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah.
Like he told a personal story about how he filled out all these little Valentine cards for his classmates. Then he went to school and was too shy and brought them home.
Oh, bless his
I
heart.
know, and that's Charlie Brown.
Yes,
and that's it's
yes.
understanding that. So you get a personal relationship with these properties.
Well, and you really then understand the motivation and the background behind these characters that you're working on all the time, every day. And it really, I think, probably helps you bring them to life in a different way.
Oh, and when you know, I'm a nerd. You know, I mean, I'm a property nerd.
As all of us who work here.
And I own that, and I love it. You know, so I come to work, and this is the best thing for me. I mean, I've never had a bad day at home.
I love that. Well, like I said, we're really excited to have you in Keepsakes. And so I just wanted to talk to you about what you have coming up in Keepsakes. I think you have some ornaments coming out this year in 2023.
I do have some stuff coming out this year. It's fun because I do a lot of licensed work, as you mentioned. I do some non-licensed work as well. And I have an ornament coming out this year in the about one of the Believe ornaments for like the mythological characters.
Yes.
So I got to do some humor work, which was really fun. So I have a Yeti carrying Santa, like kind of in a hangover baby carrier.
Yes.
And it was just a fun one to draw up. And when they picked it, I'm like, yes, I get to make this. So I have a really fun one coming out in July. And then I'm doing my second storyteller series for Harry Potter, The Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
And I got to illustrate the Harry and Hermione, and then the Harry ornament, even like some of the controls and the bases and stuff. But people might wonder, like, wait, did you say illustrate? Or do those get sculpted? Well, some of my dear friends, like Chris and, you know, doing this, oh my gosh, her ability to sculpt is stunning. And, you know, and to see all that beautiful work being done, but what I will do is do the sketches to sort of lay out the ornament. Now, Chris is fully capable of doing that on her own, but it's a partnership.
Sure,
you know, we get
it's
to kind
a
of work together.
collaboration.
Yes, when we talk back and forth, and I'll be thinking, imagine you're taking a film and you're trying to bring it all down to that one pose, like that instant to capture that character. So you're thinking about the tilt of the hand and how they're looking at each other and how they're positioned.
Or what they're holding.
Right, and like how their robes are flowing. And like there's one scene for that, they're kind of winter robes. So there's like 3 layers. You're trying to understand their costume, and that's really fun.
Yes.
And then even the bases, they're kind of built around the bathrooms from Chamber of Secrets, like what's stylized off of that. So you love the stories. And in fact, years ago, Hallmark was the very first company to work on Harry Potter.
Really?
Before there was anything. All that existed was the books.
Yes.
Warner Brothers had just gotten a license. Warner Brothers had 3 artists working on it at the time.
Yes.
And we had 13.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and we're sitting there trying to figure out what the characters look like. Reread the book so well, I can still tell you the page that like the Quidditch instructions are in the first book. And you're looking for details like the Ron's a head taller than Harry and all that stuff, and it was so exciting. And I'm reading the books aloud to my children at the same time. My son was the exact same age as Harry Potter at the time. So it's just this wonderful experience and such great content.
Well, and those new ornaments that are coming out this year, they add to the story of what people were already able to buy last year in 2023. This year in 24, there's new characters, and the story just explodes even more. And so I know.
And the tree topper.
Yes.
Oh, we have the car. in the Whomping Willow. It's the treetop. It's fantastic.
Yep.
It is fantastic.
It's so great. It's so great. Well, I know that, I mean, it sounds like you have been working on a lot of stuff for the past couple of years, Tim. Do you ever get a break here?
Well, now and then. In fact, my big passion outside of Hallmark, which also links to my Hallmark artwork, is I'm a scout leader.
Okay.
So I get to go out, I camp with the scouts,
Yes.
and we do we have a kind of a high adventure program. So we've hiked over the Swiss Alps and scuba dived with sharks and things like
That's
that.
amazing.
But we went to, part of it though is I'm giving the kids these stories.
Sure.
You know, these life experiences, and we're all about stories.
Oh,
in fact,
yeah.
I'll even buy kids ornaments. Like we went to Canada, I got everyone a little Canada ornament, you know, after from Hallmark. But it's about kind of having these wonderful experiences. And this trip we just did during spring break was we went to Texas, and we were tenting all along Texas, along the beach.
Sure.
And we got to see a SpaceX launch.
No way.
Yeah, and that was huge for me.
That was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we had like the perfect position. We were right across from the launch pad and got to see it go up into the air. But
That's amazing.
the reason it was so meaningful for me is the very first thing I remember drawing as a kid. Like this really kind of launched my whole artist
your
thing.
first memory of drawing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Was between 4 and 8 years old. There were 11 Apollo launches and then 11 Apollo splashdowns. So 22 major events.
Yes.
And every time I specifically remember seeing them, I'd watch them on TV, then I'd immediately go and grab my crayons in a big kind of wooden hat box we had them in, and grab some paper, and I'd start drawing the splashdown on the liftoff.
I love
and
that.
that was my first connection. Like I wanted to capture what I saw through art.
Yes.
And that you wrote about it.
I did. I wrote poems, and you drew things.
I drew pictures. And,
oh my gosh.
And so to see this launch in person, first time I ever saw it, the most powerful rocket in the history of the world.
So 2 weeks ago or whenever
First time I ever saw one.
For the very first time in person.
And it was really meaningful for me. And then even on the way back and stuff at the Houston Space Museum, and I saw an Apollo rocket, full rocket laying on its side. So it was kind of all coming together, and it really reminded me of that. I mean, like what kid doesn't remember sitting with his crayons and enjoying it? And that just, it's so what I do, really.
I love that this experience you just had kind of harkened back to your very first thing that you even remember drawing.
No, totally.
Well, and what I love is that you've been helping us. You know, we do a Beagle Scout ornament.
Yes.
So we talked about scouts. We do a Beagle Scout ornament every year, and you've helped us kind of brainstorm those for a decade now or more, I guess.
See, that's a good way to, first of all, the idea of brainstorming.
Yes.
Like the idea of us getting together in a room and saying, what's the coolest thing we could do for our new Beagle Scout ornament?
Yes.
And I've been in that brainstorm for several years.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it because of all the things we do. I'm like, first, I might even say something like, no, that's not the way we would do that. You know, like just really being a
what a scout
stickler.
would do.
Yeah, exactly. But all those things, like everything from Pinewood Derby races we featured to flag raising,
Yes.
all the first aid, like all the different things scouts do.
Sure.
And that's just fantastic for me.
I love that. Well, you and I have talked about scouts quite a bit because both of my boys are scouts, and my oldest is getting ready to be an Eagle. So
Which is huge.
I know we're getting ready to do his project. We're really excited about it. Okay, so I also wanted to talk about today. You are on this very special team that we've created just in the last year called the Explore Team. Everybody at home, this may be the first time you're hearing us talk about it. So something that I feel like we as Hallmark, Big H Hallmark, does very well is brainstorm and come up with new innovation and all of these great new things. But we also have all of this other work that needs to continue, going on. And so you now get to be on this dedicated team that's thinking of the next new big thing, coming out with all of this, like, these great ideas and super, like, interesting things that maybe we haven't done before. So tell us a little bit more about the Explore Team and how that works.
So we've always been focused on innovation. And you can imagine as an artist, you're trying to really craft all these ornaments. You're thinking about everything. What can I bring to this ornament to make it special, bring innovation? So you only have so much time.
Sure.
So they finally decided, could we take a group of people and let them really focus on that innovation? We can support other artists and come up with whole new ideas. So this is really exciting to me. I've actually done a lot of innovation work at Hallmark.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And like, what's the next new thing you can bring to bring an ornament to life, to bring your tree to life? Because we tell these stories, and we've done movement, we've done light, and how can we use them differently? What else can we add?
What other stories can
Yeah,
we
we're
tell?
doing animatronics now in ornaments.
Yes.
So to bring all this technology just to do the thing we've always done, which
Yes.
is tell the stories.
Yes.
And in fact, we're going to have one of our first big things coming soon. Really soon, like our first thing to market from our team.
Oh my gosh.
Which is really exciting, and oh my gosh, I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Don't tell
and
me
I
too
can't
much about
say.
it.
I know I can't say. I know this is terrible.
I
It's
always
like
have to be the buddy Denny that's like, but you can't say too
it's
much.
like torture. I can't talk about it. Just say, watch the channel. Keep an eye out for us.
Keep an eye on your socials because this is
It's
huge.
really exciting, and it's built around all the stuff we do. It's built around the storytelling, the excitement, and the craftsmanship. It's
and the
gonna be
magic,
incredible.
and it's
Everything
I'm so excited about
right
it.
there all together, and I wish I could tell. We should just postpone this for like a week so I can tell about it. But no, it's going to be very cool. It's going to be very cool, yeah.
Well, next
I promise it's going to be good, though. I really do.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. It's going to be great. Well, I also have some questions from our friends at home who are watching. So our first one is from Kathy. Thanks for sending in a question, Kathy. Are there any new ornament series that you work on? Any new series coming out for 10?
So, well, there is that Harry Potter storytelling series that we
Yes.
continue on, which I love working on. I'll tell you, like, I haven't done a ton of series, like, other than, like, the continuing storylines that we do.
Sure.
But I'll tell you a series that I always buy, which is Mary's Angels.
Yes.
Because actually my grandmother, for my wife and I, for our first wedding anniversary, for our first Christmas actually, it was just after our wedding, bought me the first in the series of the Mary's Angels ornaments. So it's the 37th year of the series, and therefore the 37 years we've been married.
I love
and,
that.
And so, like, I do love our series, and I loved Mary Hamilton. She was so wonderful to work with.
She was amazing.
In fact, for my first communion, I received a book illustrated by Mary Hamilton, and then I later got to work with Mary Hamilton, and she was just a dream.
A gem.
Yeah.
She was an absolute
She worked at
gem.
Hallmark for 60 years.
Yes.
And was at the top of her game from the first day to the last day she worked.
Well, and you told me a story one time about Mary that every time you walked by her desk, she was always working.
Oh, I could never catch her. Not that I was trying to catch her not working, but I
Sure.
couldn't possibly catch her not working. I would go by her desk, and she'd be in the middle of a painting, and then she'd start talking to me. I'm like, no, the painting. Focus on the painting, because you're so good at that. And she was just so classy, and so talented, so giving. She would help all the younger artists. In fact, she was in her 60th year, and they had a person that had been there 6 months sitting next to her, and they were collaborating.
I love that.
So he was doing new digital things with her artwork, and she was teaching him about character development. And that's part of Hallmark. That's actually part of Hallmark, that idea that we teach each other and learn from each other. I always have something to learn, no matter how long I've been here.
That's right.
And I hope I have something to share as well.
Absolutely. That's a great question, Kathy. Thanks for sending that in. Another Kathy, or maybe the same one, who knows? Do you design with pencil or with computer?
That's a really good question.
That is a good question.
Because of my age, I started as a fully conventional artist. No computer artwork when I started. So I've done the oils, airbrush, pencil, pastel, all the mediums. But to be completely honest, as of about 3 years ago, I don't even use a physical pencil anymore.
Really?
I illustrate on what's called a Cintiq.
Oh, yes.
So I have a screen in front of me, and I have like the stylus, and I can draw right on the screen. So I'm truly painting, but the big difference is compared to the old days, I don't have to mix the colors. And if I make a mistake, I press a button and it goes away. So I mean, it's kind of like you're doing all the best parts of your job, and pick whatever your job is, and keep all the best parts and get rid of the somewhat more problematic spots, like when you get a drip of paint in the middle of your painting and ruin it. You know, I don't have to do those things anymore. So it's great.
Or the lead from the pencil all over your hand.
Oh,
or something,
I could never wear something nice to work. You know, so yeah.
I love it. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Michelle, this one's from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
What is your favorite holiday and why? And what is your dream ornament? That's an interesting question.
That's really interesting.
2 questions. A 2-part.
So, I love all the holidays. I mean, everyone loves Christmas, but I gotta say I love Halloween. It's very exciting. And, for a dream ornament for Halloween, I think I'd like to combine our animatronics with a classic, like Warner Brothers,
like a classic monster.
Yeah,
yes.
like Dracula, and bring it to life and actually have it kind of like, open its eyes and come out.
How
I think that would
fun.
be super fun. So,
I love
fingers
that idea.
crossed.
Write that one down before we leave today,
I don't
because that
remember
sounds
that.
like a great idea for the Halloween
Apply
season.
pressure to Hallmark to let them make me have them make that ornament. It'll
That's
be
right.
fun.
That's fun. Okay, this question's for DW. Thank you, DW. When did you know you had artistic ability?
So, I get the chance through Hallmark to talk to schools, like have school kids come in. I always encourage them to tell their friends when they do something well. like no one was going to tell me as a kid that I was a great musician because I was not a great musician. But I remember specifically, it's kind of a weird story. I was in 6th grade, and like a 2nd grader, 3rd grader came up to me and I was sculpting a dog.
Yes.
And he goes, "Are you like the best dog sculptor at the school?" And I go, "I don't know, but thank you."
Yes.
And then you start to realize you're doing these drawings, and people go up and go, "Wow, you're pretty good at that." Any kid makes them feel really good to be told you're good at something.
Sure.
And so you keep doing it. It's kind of like encouraging good behavior.
Yes.
And so, like, I guess enough people said I was good
Yeah.
that it made me want to keep on doing it, and I do love doing it. And it kind of led to my career. So I always say, like, no matter what people do, tell them when to do good at something, because you could actually change the path of their life.
I
you know?
love that. That's
And
so true, too.
yeah.
My husband's a teacher. He would absolutely say that. Absolutely. Okay, this question is for Jean McDonald. Thank you, Jean. What is your favorite Christmas ornament theme? So like snowmen, Santa, animals, things like that.
Oh gosh, I would say I do love the snowmen, but the Beauty of Birds series that we have going, they're so the craftsmanship and artistry and stylization of those, especially when you have the beautiful birds sitting around your tree in the same way birds sit on a tree. You know? Something about seeing them across the tree is just stunning.
Well, and I love those because they have this like jewelry quality, but they still keep in, you know, like what that bird really looks like in the wild. The coloring and even the gradation of color. I love that series.
And I think they're like a great gift for my family because having 2 boys, we have a lot of like spaceships fighting each other on the tree, you know. So to add a little beauty brings happiness to my wife. And
I love it. Okay, this question is from Barb. Thank you, Barb. Who do you like collaborating with in Keepsakes?
Okay, well, so
that could be a hard one.
That is a hard one because I love collaborating with the artists. That's really what we do on the Explore team. We're working together. I get to work with engineers and sculptors and artists. I will say Chris, who I did the Harry Potter series with. One, because she's just so talented with her sculpting ability, and I'll do these sketches, and I'll even be pulling together reference of like their costumes and stuff to share with her. And then she's even nice enough to say, "What do you think?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter what I think. You're fantastic." But she's kind enough to say, "You know, how do you think? Do you think that's what what we're going for here?" And so she's just a wonderful talent and great to work with. But honestly, all my team members are great, and like an engineer I work with, Fu. I always say I'm a student at Fu U. You know, because he is brilliant, and I get to learn stuff every day that they don't teach in art school.
That's right.
You know, which is really fantastic.
What I love about talking with Fu is that you go to him and you say, "Fu, this is my dream. Can you make this happen?" And he'll kind of sit and ponder for a little bit, and then most of the time he can make it happen. It's pretty, he's incredible. He's
great.
Okay, Anne, this is from Anne. Thank you for sending it in. Do you work on Disney ornaments?
Do I work on Disney ornaments? Yes, I do a lot. I actually have at least 6 or 8 coming out this year in the Hallmark ornaments group, which is another fun way to see at some of the mass retailers as well as Gold Crown stores. And I love the characters. Like I love telling the story with them. I love Disney. In fact, Disney started its first animation studio here, just a couple blocks away in Kansas. You know, right here in Kansas City, right downtown. And so I've really studied its history, so I'm passionate about the brand. And so I love the storytelling and love leaning into the characters. Like one ornament I have coming out has Mickey putting on a giant Christmas sweater that's so long it's hanging past his arms.
That's so fun!
And it's just fun to bring him to life. But actually my favorite Disney character to illustrate, which I've done some Hallmark ornaments and keepsakes for in the past, is Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because I've illustrated him throughout my time at Hallmark. In fact, my first big licensed project was Winnie the Pooh, to the point, honestly, true story, they started calling me Timmy the Pooh. Because I had done so much Winnie the Pooh work.
I love that so much,
I know
Tim.
everything about the property, every personality.
That's so
and
great.
And I love it because it kind of connects me to that innocence of childhood, the way the characters are so innocent, loving, you know, that you kind of go back to that.
That one's a great property.
Love Disney stuff, work on it all the time. There's some great Mickey and Minnie stuff coming out this year that I'm really proud of, and we'll always love that stuff.
Well, and one Disney thing that I love that you have worked on are actually for Hallmark ornaments, so they're not Keepsake ornaments.
Right.
Hallmark ornaments put out these, the packaging almost looks like a book, And then inside, you have like all of the illustration and the story from a book, and then inside is the ornament. What are those called?
Well, we call them here story moments.
That's right.
Sometimes we have our own names just to keep track of the project,
yes.
but it does capture it well. So you've got this box, and you can see the ornament, but the ornament is on the cover. Like imagine it looks like the cover of a book. And the characters are actually sculpted, but they're in the artwork, so the background's around them. And we already storytell.
Yes.
So this does two things. One, they're all sets of two ornaments, and the ornaments actually tell a story together, the way they interact with each other. Then around that, you actually have an illustrated background and words. And even on the back, you have the synopsis of the story.
I love those.
So when you give it to someone, it's like you're giving them the whole story.
Yes.
And I know they're going to save the boxes too.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're beautiful.
They're going to put all the characters in there, so I'm really excited about them, and they'll be out all over the place.
Oh yeah, everybody can keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, some fun ones.
So I have one last question from our audience. This one's from Ford Franklin. Thank you, Ford. Who is your favorite Peanuts character to draw?
Oh, my favorite one would be Charlie Brown, because he's so complex,
He's
you know,
so
emotionally.
moody, yes,
and
yes.
I'm trying to capture like exactly what he's feeling. Like, you know, is he really sad or is he just frustrated?
Yes.
You know, and you're both in his movements and his looks and his like, you know, it's really fun to capture that and to draw it, because I feel like it's kind of the heart of the story.
Oh yes, always, always. Well, so besides your favorite Peanuts character, you said that Winnie the Pooh, right, is your favorite character of all time to draw.
He is my favorite to draw. That very first meeting I went to Disney, they said it was a business meeting. There were men in suits and ladies in nice fancy dresses talking about the personality of Piggy, like during the business meeting. And so I was hooked immediately. And I loved it as the first animated features came out when I was very young.
Sure.
You know, so I love the story of it. I love drawing it. I love the background. I'm into the property so much over the years that I got to design Winnie the Pooh for gifts. A Winnie the Pooh vase, you know, kind of a planter that was his house.
Really?
But I know his house so well that I can actually close my eyes and walk in. His bed's to the left, and there's a window right next to his bed, and off to the right is his kitchen. And I know the whole, because you have to be able to, when you're drawing, to kind of maneuver through the space. And it's kind of like you're immersing yourself in the world.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, and I love that world, and I love that property. I love it all. In fact, my very first SKU I ever designed at Hallmark was a Winnie the Pooh zipper pull. It was a three-dimensional piece, and it was Winnie the Pooh hanging on to your zipper as you pulled it up and down.
That's so fun.
So, yeah, I've always loved it. My first thing, maybe it will be someday my final piece I do at Hallmark.
Maybe. Well, not for a long time. We need to stay around for a while.
Yeah, I hope it gets good for a long time.
Well, thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you to all of you who watched with us today. And keep an eye out next month or so when we have another Keepsake Cafe. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.